Hey everyone, this is Vrej, and I'm going to be reviewing today the book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Um, Really cool book. I really recommend you guys going out and getting it. The main gist of the book is that small, consistent actions have a compound effect in our lives. He has some cool quotes in there, some cool ways of thinking about life, and that have been created from his experiences, obviously, throughout his life and through when he was young. The first chapter just talks about a little bit about how doing something over a long period of time in small, consistent ways ends up being a huge impact later on down the road when you build up um, momentum. The second chapter he talks about it's called choices. He talks about taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens to you in your life, whether it's bad or good, um, whether it's your fault or not. Basically, by taking responsibility, he's saying that it liberates you from the past, present, and future victimhood, giving you the unlimited power to control your destiny. I really like that. I think that shows that no matter what happens to you, you just have to kind of push through it and take responsibility and keep trying to do the best and make sure that you're in control. Because when you feel like you're in control, you have a sense of power and control over your life, so you feel like you have a little bit more ability to determine the direction of your life. He's saying that the biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not. I think that's pretty strong um, concept, and I think I can apply it to my own life where in the past where I think when you want something really bad, you're just going to do whatever you want, whatever you can do to get it, no matter what it takes. You're just going to put the time, energy, and the effort to do it. So it just matters how hard and how much you want something. It'll determine whether you're actually going to turn it into a reality or not. Another concept he's talking about in chapter 2 is he's saying pick an area that you most want to be successful in and track every action every day. Write it down in a small notebook. Like for instance, let's say you want to improve your eating habits or your exercise habits. Write down every day what exactly you're eating, how much you're eating, how many calories you're eating, or if you're doing exercises, exactly what your exercises you're doing. Track the repetitions, and by doing it every day for 3 weeks at a minimum, you're gonna cause awareness in your mind. You're gonna make more better decisions around that area because it's gonna be at top of mind, and you're always gonna be thinking about it before you actually do it because it's gonna force you to write it down. He's saying that it's the littlest disciplines that pay off over time, and that's what he's referring to. Um, Another quote that he actually wrote that I really liked in that chapter was about habits. Or this is chapter 3 called Habits. He's saying that successful people aren't necessarily more intelligent or talented than anyone else, but their habits take them in the direction of becoming more informed, more knowledgeable, more competent, better skilled, and better prepared. And I think that shows that no matter how much you know or you don't know, it kind of levels the playing field and shows you that really you can become an expert at anything. You can become the best person at any area, or you can become skilled and talented as long as you put the time in and put the hard work in. Another area that he talks about in chapter 3 is about it's a concept called your why power, not actually willpower, but why power. Basically, what he means by that is that your choices are only meaningful when they're connected to your desires and your dreams. Otherwise, you'll just give up if it's not connected to your core self, your highest values, and your purpose. It kind of reminds me of the book that I read, What's Your Why by Simon Sinek, basically saying that you have to figure out what really stirs your soul, and what really prompts you to action, prompts you to get up every day, and just basically hit it hard and grind it out, and what's going to push you, what's going to keep that fire burning in your soul and your heart. Otherwise, it's not worth it. And in order to be successful nowadays, there's so much time and effort and energy involved in the day-to-day basis on a constant day-to-day grind that unless you really have a burning passion for it, it's going to be hard to sustain it over the long term. He also talks about write down your goals. By writing it down, you impress it upon your mind or your subconscious, and you're able to measure it. once you write it down, you can start to reverse engineer it back into what you need to do to get towards it. And this is on the concept I've come across in a lot of other books and a lot of other authors. He says that success is something you attract by the person you become. I think that this is a mental kind of change that you have to make in your mind about um, seeing the person that you want to become in your mind's eye, and then doing whatever it takes to get to that level, or to become that person. Not necessarily fake it till you make it, or pretend to be that person, but actually leveling up your skills and yourself in order to do the things that the person that you want to be would do. So it actually requires more of you to kind of more of a mental change, and to change who you actually are as a person, to do the things that your, I guess you would say, your avatar would do, to become that person. He's saying your habits are everything, and if you change your habits, you change your life. And that the key is to make your why power so strong that it overwhelms your urges for instant gratification. Yeah, and so then he talks about identifying triggers, what are basically causing you to have your bad habits. Write down what it is that is causing you to distract you or detract from your goals, and try to figure out why, what's causing you what's triggering you, or what's causing you to lose focus. He has a little exercise where you can do like figure out who, what, when, where. And he's talking about who are you around, or who's the person that's causing you to maybe lose your focus or concentration, or indulging those bad habits with. What are you actually doing when you're causing the bad habit to arise? When does it happen? And where are you when they're happening? And kind of think about that, and then determine what you can do instead. So he says to change that, you can install some good habits by setting yourself up for success by, let's say you need to have like food on hand when you're exercising, so you maybe like cook some food beforehand for the week and then have it ready for you. Or if you're trying to exercise, make sure your gym is close by so you don't have to like drive really far, and it makes it easy on yourself. You don't just give up because it's harder to do. So make it easy, set yourself up for success. Other ways he says you can install good habits are to replace old habits with new habits that are new activities. Like, let's say instead of watching TV, you can like start doing photography or video editing instead, or spending more time with your family, or reading a book, or just replace the time that you would usually spend on a bad habit with something good. You could do public display of accountability, where you could post on social media that you're planning on changing your habit and doing something else, and so it kind of keeps you accountable. You could find a success partner, someone who you can call on a regular basis to exchange views with, and to tell them where you had a good time this week, and what successes and what failures you had, and they could do the same with you. And then make sure to celebrate yourself when you have to give yourself little rewards every month, every day, every week, to acknowledge your success. When another quote he said I really liked was actually from Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge." So you kind of have to push yourself, find your values, and stand by them, and just and do the hard work that needs to get done. Chapter 4, he talks about routines, how you must incorporate your new habits into your daily routines to affect any real change. The routines are the only way any of us can predictably regulate our behavior. He says that a daily routine is built on good habits and disciplines, and it separates the most successful among us from everyone else. Yeah, I think that's really true, because if you really want something to get something done, you have to create it. You have to basically make it a priority in your life, make it a priority in your schedule, and do it like the first thing that you can when you wake up in the morning, or put the most of your energy towards that, because that's what's going to determine whether you actually accomplish it, get to a point to where you're moving forward towards that goal every day, or whether it just stays on the back burner and you procrastinate and it just never happens, never gets done, and then you lose interest, and then you end up working on another project and that just gets lost. The second part he talks about in that chapter is momentum. And he's saying, miss only a couple of weeks of anything and you kill your momentum. Basically, it's dead. And in order to get that momentum moving again, you have to exert an extreme amount of force and mental effort to get it rolling again. And it's easier to move something, to keep something moving while it's in motion, rather than start it from scratch and get it up to a point where you can just kind of put some small effort and keep it moving. So always, all the people, the most successful people in the world have always built on the momentum, and then once they get it to a level, it's like just start steamrolling, and it just gets to a point where you have no choice but to be successful because you put so much energy and effort into it that it keeps moving forward. The last chapter, chapter 5, he talks about influences, and everybody is affected by 3 kinds of influences: input, what you feed your mind; associations, the people you spend time with; and your environment or your surroundings. Obviously, you need to limit those, and you need to control those as much as you can. So make sure that you're not watching the news every day and feeding your mind with negative stories and stuff like that. Read positive material, read inspirational material, motivational material to keep your mind primed and in a more positive and optimistic mind frame. Limit the people that you hang around with if they're not going to be beneficial to you, if they're not on the same path or wavelength that you're on, or the where you want to be or where you want to go, then like disassociate with them, or either spend less time with them, or just limit the amount of time that you actually have with them. And also there's this saying that you're the person that you're the product of the person you spend the most time with, or the 5 people you spend the most time with, because the human brain, it normalizes what it's around. So regardless whether you like it or you want to or not, you're automatically going to start to adopt the behaviors and the practices of the people that you hang around with. So if you want to be a certain level, or you want to achieve a certain amount of success, find the people that are already achieved that success and then get around them, and that way it'll bring you up, and you'll get there faster than you would if you were hanging around people who aren't going anywhere. And in your environment, make your environment clean. Make it so where you're actually constantly inspired by things that are around you. If you need to go and take a trip or take a drive or somewhere, get around things that are actually inspiring you. He recommends getting a mentor, someone to help you kind of exchange ideas with, and someone can help you along the path where you want to go. Coaching is a good example of that. He was saying also creating a personal board of advisors that he can reach out to once a week and exchange ideas with and thoughts with them. But he's saying also never ask advice of someone with whom you wouldn't want to trade places, and I think that's really really key too, because it's like you wouldn't want to go to a dentist who has no teeth, or go see somebody who go to a doctor who can't even take care of himself, who's sick or something all the time, right? It's like you don't want to take advice from people who don't have the results that you want to see in your life. And another concept he talks about is pushing through your wall. Basically, when you hit your wall, whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually, keep pushing through, and that's when the real growth takes place. Always do a little bit more of what's expected of you each time, and that'll multiply your results. Not only a little bit, it won't just give you like a little bit more of just pushing through. It'll actually multiply, because most people stop when it gets hard, but when you actually go through it, go the extra mile, that's going to kind of separate you from all the rest of the people who quit and give up early, and that's a huge big boom for your results. And then he's saying look for opportunities to wow people in everything that you do. Get that wow factor in there. That goes along with doing a little bit more of what's expected. If people don't expect that of you, if that's just the average, then if you do a little bit more, or if you do something that's going to wow them, then that'll keep you top of mind in their head, and that will kind of give you the edge that you need. He kind of concludes it with saying learning without execution is useless, and motivation without action is self-delusion. And I really like that, because everything is action, and everything you want to get done in life, you have to take action on. One of the stories I actually really liked, one of the golden nuggets that I actually liked, what he said was when he kept a Thanksgiving journal for his wife, and he wrote down one thing he appreciated about her each day, and then he gave it to her on Thanksgiving Day with a year's full of journal entries. And he said it showed his appreciation and gratitude and his intention to find the best in her, and it really strengthened his marriage, and it was actually the best gift she'd ever received. So I thought that was actually really cool thing to do. Book kind of reminded me of a couple other books that I've read. Atomic Habits by James Clear, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and What's Your Why by Simon Sinek. Those are all real great books too. And my biggest insight in the book was that you already have all you need to be successful. You just need to put in the old-fashioned hard work. And there are no shortcuts or pills to take, just the slow and consistent daily action repeated forever, or for as long as you want to be successful, and keep your edge. My takeaway was that it gets you to analyze your own life, which any good self-help book does, and it provides you the tools and strategies you actually need to improve your life. And then a couple of the bonuses were really cool. Or he has these assessments in the back of the book: core values assessment, habit assessment, gratitude assessment, different life assessments where you can take and kind of help to design your life and figure out exactly where you're lacking and where you need to go. He also has a website, thecompoundeffect.com, and /free. You can get a lot of free resources, or those assessments, and some of the tracking devices that you can use to kind of keep yourself moving along with your goals and stuff. Again, I would really recommend you guys buy the book, Compound Effect. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and look forward to doing another video every week on a new book that I'm reading. So if you guys have any suggestions for books that I could read and review, put it in the comments below. Thanks a lot. Talk to you guys next week.